Good morning and welcome to Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg, and it is the 9th day of May 2024. Welcome to our show today. So I'm waiting here for Karen to come on, but I'm going to bring on Ralph right now, and we're going to start this day off. Hey, Ralph, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, good. So we have Ralph, the IT guy, Karen, the Riveter, and Jeff Buongiorno on today. Jeff's going to be on at 10 o'clock, and he has a lot to talk about because he's got an announcement, and B, he has a lot to talk about because he has uncovered some things that are pretty nefarious having to do with 5G, and what he's uncovered is going to probably blow up fairly large into a bigger issue. So how are you doing today, Ralph?
Oh, doing good.
Yeah, what's happening? I'm still trying. I came skidding in here at the last minute. As you can tell, usually I button my top button here. So, but at any rate, I was doing some research this morning and got into an oh my gosh bunch of information, which is probably there. I feel dressed. Which is probably kind of crazy. It's going down crazy paths right now, and more stuff is coming to light on who's who in the zoo behind the scenes.
Cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So, I'm going to let's talk just for a minute until Karen gets on here, because we'll go back into off the grid preparedness. Oh, there's Karen. Morning, Karen. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. I hear the cute little voice. So cute. So, how you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm okay. My voice is going to be really deep because I just got up.
Well, I stopped finally talking like a 90-year-old smoker. It's getting a little bit better every day here, but I still have coffee. Like yesterday, ending the show, I had this coughing fit, and I'm just like, you guys take it. I have to disappear here to cough a little bit. I know you guys can talk amongst yourselves, and you can keep things on the rails, so that's good.
I thought it was pretty entertaining. I haven't seen Ralph scramble like that before. And
I'm trying to remember the words at the end. Yeah, I don't remember.
God bless you. That. God bless all those whom you love, and God bless America. Pretty simple. I'm
but you left us before we even had to do the ding 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 thing. So
Well, Karen got that. So I had you covered. You were covered. So there you go. So too funny.
I found a cool video this morning about. We've talked about the program Kiwix before.
Yeah.
For being able to run your own local version offline of Wikipedia. And I found a good video this morning that in less than 3 minutes shows you how to download the software and files that you need to be able to do that.
Setting up offline
Okay, I just set it up so people could see it. Do we want to play that a minute? And then I think this is going to be kind of cool. So we can go into stuff. So before Jeff comes on, so Jeff's coming on at 10 o'clock today. He talked to him this weekend, and he was visibly rattled by what he found. I mean, disturbed. Really, it was really disturbing on this 5G stuff. And so he said he was too. He had to get his feet on the ground on Monday a little bit, and then he wanted to make an announcement today because it's that important. So he's going to be on today talking about what he found, and sent me a little video about what he was doing too. So I'm going to let him talk about it, but we can play the video, and then I want to touch a little bit on this nonsense in Ottawa County and how, why are we off the rails? I had somebody from Florida ask me what's really going on in Michigan. I'm like, well, the Republican Party's destroying itself right now, which is kind of what really is going on right now. We've got the brand new party, which is the old guard Republicans, the big money, the lobbyist money people that paraded, they got Michonne in there under the guise of being grassroots, but it's kind of all of the money people, the people that were the old guard who never did anything, just like Biden didn't. What are we going to do? Expect things to change, having the same people in place? So then you got that going on. Then you've got the MIGOP nonsense, who is going to be single-handedly responsible for handing the state of Michigan over to anyone but President Trump. I don't care if President Trump endorsed Hoekstra or who he did. He only endorses bad people, and it's only to show us who not to trust. That's what every single one of his endorsements have been bad. Okay, and I think that this is something really important to see, is that the people that are in place are playing 5D, 20D chess. They are into this so deep that you can't look at things on the surface for the answers. They're not going to tell you straight out, because they're playing the mafiosa game here. This is a global crime syndicate. And so if they can get people to follow the little naive paths of stupidity to believe in some sort of wonderful thing that they're peddling now, that's exactly what they want to do. So watch what they're doing. They keep wanting us to look over to Detroit, right? Look, and I just seized up. Let's see if I come back on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. We are good here.
Yeah, you're seized up now.
That's strange.
Yeah, I can hear you, Karen, but yeah, she seems to be offline here.
She seized up on her own end first.
Interesting. Well, and this is a perfect example of why we need to be prepared for the grid to have glitches. So, oh, just a second. I gotta mute.
Talk amongst yourselves, they said to Karen the Riveter. This is what we get on the kitchen table. You just never know what's going to happen. Hopefully they'll be coming back. Oh, there goes Donna. They'll be coming back. She started talking about Detroit and bing, bang, boom.
Okay, Karen, if you can take over for a minute, that would be great, because I think I'm going to have to help Donna with her computer a minute. See if we can figure out what's going on there.
Okay. So what's going on in the world, everybody? I didn't get online yesterday. I don't know if I was on Telegram at all in the morning. I will say that one of the things I have found, which is related to what's happening now, perhaps, is that lately there's been a lot of censorship in various forms. Some of them seem a little bit new. It's on a global scale, and it's happening everywhere. And whether it's, something happening like this where it seems to be a glitch, something going wrong so that somebody can't. A lot of it is political, legal limitations.
Hey guys, how you doing?
There she comes.
So this is funny. My computer went completely black. I started talking about this, so I'm on my phone right now. Screw you people. This is exactly what we're going to do. You're going to play this game. That's okay. We'll play the game. But this is what I wanted to say, is every single, let's see if I can get myself in camera here. See, this is my backdrop. You can see it now because I don't have my, let's see if I don't have my, there you go. This is what is going on here. President Trump always does bad endorsements, okay? So that he can get people to, how do I say this? Points out who the bad guys are, right? Well, in Michigan, I want you to think about this. What's going on here in Michigan is they keep pointing to Detroit. And I'm going to tell you what, the nest is on the west side of Detroit. The nest is in Ottawa County and up by Bay Harbor, by Traverse City. This is what's going on. And so I'm finding out more and more stuff and finding out how these people are actually tied in with Israel. And Israel, I'm not meaning the Jewish people. I mean the Khazarian mafia. And it's out there. You're going to have to deal with it, people. And not only that, which is the lobbyists, the big money groups, as well as some other stuff that's really nefarious. So I'm going to keep talking, and they're not going to shut me down. I'm not kidding you. All my screens went completely black when I started talking about this. All of them completely black. So I thought I'd jump back onto my phone. So here we are. So guess what, guys? She's back. So there you go.
So while you were gone, I started talking about censorship because I've noted that globally there's been a lot of it happening, like an increase in censorship in various forms. So here you are, perhaps being censored.
You bet I am.
And in a different way, but you're going to fight it.
Yeah, I'll just come on with my phone. Like I said, I'm going to see if I can reboot here a little bit while we're talking. So you're going to see Donna Brandenburg multitasking poorly right now, but and see if we can get this thing running. But there we go. I got one screen up. See what happens. So, but this is Donna Brandenburg multitasking poorly, but that's okay. We're going to just keep going here and see what happens.
Yeah, so we've talked about having, for emergency reasons, having multiple ways of communicating. Yeah, and this is a prime example.
Yeah, we accomplished it this morning, so screw you people. And all right, let me see if I can get this thing going again. But we're going to keep multitasking. So one name I'm going to bring up that I think is that we should look at, besides the DeVosses, is Keith Den Hollander. Bam. There you go. You keep screwing with me. I'm going to keep throwing stuff out. It started with a little threat that I got last week. You know what? Hate to say that, but I'm going to keep going. And we're gonna keep throwing this thing out there. The harder they censor me, the more I'm going to come back. So if you want to crawl back into your little holes, now would be the time, because this ain't going to end. And so yeah, kind of funny, isn't it, guys?
Yep.
Nothing can stop what is coming.
Nothing can stop what is coming. And you know what? I hate to say it. Piss off Brandenburg and let's just see what happens. That's all right. Can knock things out. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, I think I might actually be able to get this work. If I can, I'll jump back on my dashboard because that's a lot better than doing it from my phone. But I can make it go from either way. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so good idea to have multiple ways of communicating so that you can use them when one of them gets censored. You can keep getting the message out there.
Yeah, so Keith Den Hollander. I think we should look into Keith Den Hollander, who was, I don't know, at oh, this is funny. Now I'm getting watching blow up my phone. So who was at, I think it was, should we say RDV at the surprise launch of Tudor Dixon at RDV, which is what, I don't know, what should we call that? Oh, Rich DeVos Corporation. And who's involved in the RDV? Should I keep going, gentlemen? Because this would be really fun. I love this kind of stuff. So I can keep going. This is going to be funny. So we'll see what happens here. But RDV at the Econ Club. Wonder what happened at the Econ Club with maybe perhaps Oprah. This is going to be great, guys, because you know what? There ain't a rock we're not going to uncover. There's nothing that we're not going to uncover and throw that out there. And I hope that the Republicans and the Democrats out there get a little smarter than what they are right now to follow these parties, which are shams. I mean, these parties they're frauds. They're all working together. They're all frauds. And the fraudsters are in them, and they're all connected to, I don't know. I wonder if Keith Den Hollander is a Mason. I wonder if he's a Mason. And I wonder if there are more Masons involved in this behind the scenes besides the direct connection to the Netherlands. Den Hollander, DeVos, Hoekstra. Oh my goodness, she said it right out loud, right next to the IMF in Brussels, Belgium. and such. Wonder how that works. So anyhow, I digress. But keep going. My computer and my system is coming back up right now, so we're just going to keep going. But keep censoring, guys. Keep screwing with me. I'm just going to run right back in, and it's going to be and I've got more names to drop, which will be fun. We could even go down the Christian Coalition now. Rabbit trail. We could go there, guys. We could go up to Muskegon and see the people that are involved in the I don't know. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one for people. So, but anyhow, who else is in Muskegon? Who else is in Muskegon? They're all working together. That's all I got to say. So anyhow, I digress. Keep going.
You're having too much fun.
I'm having way too much fun. I love this kind of stuff. I hate to say it. There's something wrong with my brain. I love this kind of stuff. Actually, a lot of the stuff actually mapped out, even locations mapped out. We found an island actually that DeVos's own, which is kind of interesting, besides some property and the connections here, which is really interesting. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Probably not a good idea to threaten anyone at this point in time, because it's just going to go right back to bad places. Okay, let's see what I can do here. You can talk amongst yourselves a minute while I'm getting this thing up.
No, it sounds like you got quite a bit of information to get out there.
I do. It's going to be great, but I'm just going to leave a teaser out there and see if anybody's, gutsy enough to keep going with this. They might just keep going with this. That's okay. Nuke me all you want. I'm going to keep coming back. And as I said before, they can't kill me. Only God can end my life. So they got kind of a big adversary there. And they've tried with things before, so it didn't work for them. Okay, so let's see. Oh, that's not the right one. Let me go back in and see if I can find it here a minute. Keep going. If you guys want to talk to me, it's just going to take me a minute. I need to focus a second.
I was just thinking to myself, I was teasing Ralph a little bit for being put on the spot yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, Karen, if you could cover for us a little bit." That's what I get, I guess.
Yeah, your turn.
Help with my friend.
Try that again.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, when you're doing it on your phone, anytime that either of us talk, it mutes you.
Here we go. And here I go. I remove. Adding this. Bam! There we go. So
that was an awesome sound effect. If you said "bam" and it was echoing.
I can do it again. Bam! Bam!
Yeah, it's still echoing pretty good.
Yeah, that'll be done. All right, now I'm back.
That sounds better.
Okay, let's see what happens here. I'm gonna nuke this off of this device, and she's back. This is like Brader, with saying Brader. Let's just punch the beast one more time here. She's back. Every time I go to the Board of Elections, I make sure I say that I'm back. Sucks to be you guys. Sucks to be you. This is a weaponized stubbornness going on right now. So anyhow, yeah. So Den Hollander. Let's see if they nuke my computer again. That was funny. Den Hollander. Wonder if he's a Mason. He's in Ottawa County. Where'd he come from? Is he on the board of Pacer Energy? Oh no. With windmills? Oh no. Who would have guessed?
She's just waiting to see if something's gonna happen.
Yes, I am. And then I'm gonna come back on with another device and go bam, and there's gonna be an awesome sound effect. It'll be great. So
for like the alternative energy kind of stuff, I actually saw something kind of cool. Oh, I think it was yesterday. Is on Odyssey. There's a there's a channel on YouTube. It's I think called Undecided with Matt Farrell, and he talks a lot about like solar and alternative energy kind of stuff, and like he did a kind of a cool special on heat pumps recently, where they've got new technology. Well, not a new technology, but there's a startup in the residential space trying to apply more of like industrial heat pump technology to residential applications. But anyway, he's on Odyssey now, which I thought was kind of cool. And one of the reasons I like his stuff so much is he's very much pragmatic about whether or not any of this stuff will actually work for people. He's not just doing it just to, oh, it's for the green energy stuff to, clean up the planet. No, his whole thing is really kind of more about energy independence, which I like seeing that. That's one of the only, in my opinion, valid uses of solar is for the energy independence aspect of it. And that's something that gets lost on a lot of people, I think.
Well, you got to use some common sense here with all of it. First of all, windmills are a disaster. They're more pollutant than that. That's like believing in fairy dust out there, right? It doesn't work, and the way that they're doing it does not work because the footprint is larger because you got to make all the parts. The mining of it is bad. The coolant they put in the nose cone, they can't leak, so it's more polluting through the nose cone with the coolant. The parts of it are composite material, which cannot be broken down. You lose 30% over the lines in the ground. I mean, I know this stuff. And I supported a study with Western Illinois University when I was looking at doing an optimization project and such. So, I mean, I've kind of already gone down this thing and have researched into it and such. And not only that, the blades lose 20% of the efficiency just due to grit in the air over 2 years. So the whole thing is a bad idea. It's a scam, and it's a way to launder money, just like they're doing in the state of Michigan, by the way, when you look at Detroit as opposed to Ottawa County. And maybe Muskegon County and maybe Kent County, all the deep state players, and maybe even Bay Harbor up by Petoskey, who they all go down to Naples, Florida together at about the 13th of October, and was told to me directly and such. And I was actually told directly by one of them that, all the billionaires have places up here. Yeah, right. I want to stay away from your cootie behinds. I'm going to tell you what. And guess what? Here's my little stopwatch. And I'm just saying it. Tick, 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 tick. Time's running out, people. Nothing can stop what's coming. So there you go. So yeah, the energy stuff.
So the alternative energy stuff, though, is like when applied at a grid scale, it's, in my opinion, kind of silly. Because if you're doing it for the environmental benefits, it's really silly. But where it isn't silly, in my opinion, is if you're doing like a small scale solar operation on your own house or your own building, which can charge batteries that you have, which are also sustainable batteries. And
nickel iron batteries, are you specifying?
Yep. Nickel iron batteries, because lithium ions degrade. Even if you're doing lithium ions, you're still dependent on the all of the manufacturing and mining and processing technology behind lithium ion. You're dependent on that because every time you put a lithium ion battery in something, it starts to degrade, and you're going to lose lifespan on that over time. And you do the lead acid batteries have a fairly long lifespan, and they're almost completely recyclable domestically. So even those are a better option than the lithium ions. But in my opinion, the best option I've seen for solar energy storage is good old nickel iron batteries from around 1900. They still make them. It's still a viable chemistry. It's incredibly durable. they don't really wear out over time, not to any appreciable degree. And so it's basically a permanent battery system. And couple that with some solar. I think there's only one inverter right now that's capable of doing nickel iron batteries, and that's the Outback inverter system. And those are kind of cool because you can use like any battery technology with them. You can use any solar panels with them, just about. I mean, it's like that's kind of like a universal power conversion system. It's really pretty cool. But if you do something like that, where you've got an off-grid option to be able to run completely independently of the grid, you're not doing solar or wind or whatever at grid scale, but you're doing it as a distributed individual unit. That's not a bad way to go, in my opinion. And that's kind of one of the cool things about that channel with Matt Farrell, is that he's a lot more pragmatic about it, and that this isn't going to work for everybody. It's going to be more than certain people want to pay. It's not going to make sense financially if you're doing this for financial reasons. Even for doing it for environmental reasons, it makes marginal sense at best. But if you're really into energy independence and you value that, then there's an argument to be said that the expense for it might be worth it for you. So this is how you should look into it.
Well, do you want me to play that? Do we want to go back to the Wikipedia? Because now, since I got everything working, we can, you want to play that, the download thing here, or where do you want to go with this?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. So hard copies of stuff are always...
Needs to win like a champion. It's toasty and crunchy.
Okay, go ahead.
Hard copies of stuff, always the best option. However, almost always the best option. However, if you have any kind of computer available to you in an off-grid situation, this is not a bad way to go.
Okay, here we go. We're going to go to Kiwix here a minute, and we're going to play how you can
offline Wikipedia access on Windows 10. So I've done some other videos on this. I've set it up on a Mac, iOS, Android, Raspberry Pi servers, Docker, you name it. But I hadn't done Mac and Windows, so I made a Mac video. Now I'm making a Windows version of video. So if you go to the Kiwix website, you'll find this downloads and then reader. And then under Kiwix reader, you'll see there's a Windows 2.0 beta release. I tried that and wasn't able to get it working. So I found another option I think is going to work. So besides the reader, you'll want a Wikipedia zip file. So if you go to downloads and then content, and then on the left side here, you see it says available zip files. You scroll down to where it says Kiwix Wiki. And this page has all sorts of wiki files. It has different languages, types. It has like physics, medical, probably has a math one maybe. The one I like is the simple one. So I'll search the page for simple. And this is the one I've downloaded right here. It's the Simple All No-Pick. So simple means it has abbreviated articles, and no-pick means it doesn't have pictures. And this is 443 megabytes. But there's all sorts of different versions. This one is Simple All Mini. This one's Simple All Maxi. There's this Ray Charles one. If you just want to test, this is only 1.4 megabytes, so you can test your setup. This one's even smaller here. But there's a huge range of Wikipedia files you can download here.
I would want the one with the pictures.
So I've already downloaded that to my downloads folder, so I'll minimize this. And what I want to do is go to the Microsoft Store. So I'll go down to my search here and just type store. I typed store wrong and it's still coming up. So I'll open up Microsoft Store. And then I'll go up to the search here and I'll type in Kiwix. So it's Kiwix. I'll hit enter. And we see this Kiwix.js here. So I'll click on this. I'll click get. Okay, so now I'll click launch. So this tells about it. It has the changes in it. I'll close this. So it looks like we have the Ray Charles version here. I'll click close on this little message. So I'll click on the little wrench up here, and then I'll click on select storage. And you can do select file or select folder. I'll just do select file for this one. And then I'll choose my zip file. I'll hit open. And here we have it up now. So I can search for something in here. There we go. Here's an article on Abraham Lincoln. And click on Civil War, President, Elected, Parliamentary System, Head of Government. So you can see this is very fast because it's hosted right on my machine. And this will also work if there's no internet access. So this could be used if you're traveling and you want Wikipedia available for your kid, or say you have spotty internet, you could download the zim file at night and then use it during the day. So now the data will get out of date eventually. So you're not going to find up-to-date information, but if you're looking up, say, a dead president, or maybe a old car manufacturer, or you name it, a country, you can find that data on here. It's still going to be way more up-to-date than your typical paper encyclopedias we used to use back in the day. It can also be used in a survival situation where the internet is shut down completely and you want information like on, say, first aid, edible plants. It shouldn't be your only source of information, but there's a lot of stuff on Wikipedia. You would still have to sort through it, and you still have to trust it, but it's nice to have it if you need it. So let's go over the rest of this. If I click the Kiwix icon, it takes me to home. This opens up a random article. I think that's a neat feature. So you can just click that, and if you're bored, you can just browse right on Wikipedia. Then we have our settings again. So on this download links, if I click Open Library, I have to click on Allow Internet Access, then I can open Library. So this is showing zim files here. So if I look up Wikipedia, I could probably download it right within this system. And it says don't do it on mobile because it will download this on your mobile connection, which could cause you to have charges. So I'll do that. I like to download the zim separately, then I can use it on different devices easily. I don't have to go searching for it. It's just in my download folder. Looks like we have a dark mode interface, dark theme for articles. It says display style is select style automatically, use Wikimedia desktop style, use Wikimedia mobile style, and remove max page width restriction. Then it says hide toolbars when scrolling, use locally cached display styles, display images if any, permanently hide active content warning. It says start character of alphabet, end character of alphabet, set max number of search results, and enable opening articles in a separate browser tab. So I'll just scroll through the rest of these. It has a privacy setting thing here, expert settings. It says content injection mode is jQuery or service worker, and API status. A lot more things than most people are going to need. So it looks like we have two home buttons here. Yeah, so you can click up with the little Kiwix bird or the home button. Looks like I can click forward and backwards within the article. So you can use the arrows here. Yep. Then we have table of contents on the page we're on. And then we have a minimize and zoom, so you can change your font size. Let's see what this thing does. This takes us to the top of the page. There we go. So that's how you can set up Kiwix on Windows 10. Like I said, I tried that desktop app. It was confusing. I didn't get it working. So I think the Microsoft Store version is probably the best version. And it works fairly well, really. It's fast, it downloaded quickly, and it has all the features on it. So that's all for this video. If you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it.
Boom.
Yeah, so pretty easy. And I posted a link in the chat there where you can see the library of things that you can download. And because it's not just for Wikipedia, you can get archives of all kinds of different websites.
Okay. Bear with me a minute. I'm still coughing from being sick this week, but we're still here. Okay.
So there you go. You got 1,020 different books that you can download, and they call them books, but it's really like archives of entire websites. So like there's Wikipedia. If you want to download Wikipedia, you can go there. If you want to see a preview of what one of these looks like, you can click on the title of it. Or if you want to download it, you can click the download button. And they get all kinds of stuff on here. Like if we do a search for medical,
Okay.
they've got WikiMed, Medical Encyclopedia.
Yep.
MD Wiki.
Would be helpful if I spelled it right, wouldn't it? That wasn't censorship. That was me.
You kind of have to clarify nowadays, don't you?
Yeah, I do, right? Which one should I go to, Ralph?
Oh boy, I'm gonna say probably the WikiMed Medical Encyclopedia. And if you want to see,
or 6.54, that's here's 181.
Do the one just to the left.
This guy.
Yeah, let's try that one.
Okay.
And see here, you can kind of browse sort of a preview of this is what it would look like if you downloaded it to your computer. So if you wanted to archive this, you could click that download button back up one. But otherwise, this is kind of what you'd see if you did it on your own computer.
Okay, where's the download button?
Just right here. Yeah.
There you go.
So you click that, and it would download that file, and then you just have to have a program like that Kiwix.js that the video talked about, that can open these files because they're in a format called Zim, which is it's like a compressed archive of the entirety of a website.
Okay, we'll go to natural medicine. What else can I put under natural cures? Home remedies?
Try natural.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, TED Talks. Okay, so that's kind of engineered. However, one of my favorite videos ever. Let's see. Let's try home remedies.
You can try medicine. There is a military medicine one.
Oh, they're not doing home remedies either. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. What else could we put in there for natural cures or herbal?
Homeopathic or holistic?
Let's try herbal.
Well, you got to remember these are like entire websites. It's not so much topics. You're looking at whole websites. So like if I'm looking at the main list here, I'm seeing there's one that is gardening and landscaping. That might have information in it on that. There's one called the Post-Disaster Resource Library.
Oh, okay. That's what I want to see. Let's see. There we go. Post-disaster resource. Let's try that one.
Hey, there's the World Economic Forum website. If you wanted to keep a copy of that to archive it in case that anyone ever needs proof of what they were doing.
Excuse me. Hey, check this out. Can I click on this or do I have to download it?
No, you can click on those.
Ooh, there you go. Hey, check this out. Let's try the 3 month of food supply. Let's see what comes up. Oh, this is interesting. Home storage. Check this out. That's kind of cool.
So this is all stuff that you can just, archive this stuff to your computer, and you've got an off-grid thing. Okay,
Very
so
cool.
if you back all the way back up to the search, there's another one called Food for Preppers.
Oh, okay.
A collection of recipes and techniques for preparing food.
Sorry, guys, I'm still coughing.
There's the Project Gutenberg Library, which is basically an archive of every public domain book that's been cataloged.
Collection of recipes and techniques. Oh, we've got videos here. Canadian Prepper. Let's just check that one out for a minute. See what he has. Stockpile this item. Oh, 25 powdered foods that last forever. 30-year shelf life. Let's see what we have here.
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So today on the channel, we're going to talk about 25 different types of powdered foods. Yes, you heard me correctly. Powdered foods. Why powdered foods? Well, they store for a long, long time. and they pack the most amount of nutrients and calories into the smallest amount of volume. So let's get to it.
I've actually watched this video before.
Any food can be powdered if you dehydrate it and grind it into a fine powder, or you can freeze dry it. Freeze drying is preferred because you get more moisture out of it, meaning that you can break it down to a finer and finer grain.
Cool.
So some of the stuff that I'm going to show you today is stuff that I've...
Very cool.
So I'm just going through their main list here and typing out some other ones that would be good to look through. Yeah, so there's really either one of those
between
would be good.
these links. I mean, why would you pick one link over another?
I'm gonna say probably you'd want to go with the right link because it's larger.
Bigger.
Yeah,
so the bigger one. Okay.
It's probably an updated version. So like that's gonna have public domain books. So you can, I don't know, you can click on one of those and we can read through it.
All right, pick one, Karen. Let's see what you like.
I don't know. I can't. I have to really zoom. Let's see.
I don't know, Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, that's there. There you go.
Oh.
And
click the book, or what do? Do you have to download it?
Yeah, click on the download button. No, let's see. What's the one to the left?
This guy?
Yeah, let's do that one.
Oh, I know which one I want to do. Hang on. This is going to be great. Let's see if it's in here.
I think that's by author name.
Author name? Okay.
Yeah.
Bummer. Okay. So anyhow, let's
But yeah, that book is going to be in here someplace.
yeah. How cool is this? So very cool. Well, that's a real helpful thing. So there you go, guys. There's your resource library, things to keep you sane when things go dark.
Yeah. Right. So there's another one called iFixit that does guides of how to tear apart and fix things.
Yeah, when you need a mechanic, when you know, a mechanic or somebody else that has knowledge on how to, oh man, check this out. All kinds of cool stuff. We've got apparel, truck, camera appliance, tablet tool, vehicle. Wow, cool. All right, let's check out the household one. 29 categories.
So a few days ago, I found an old prescription for one of the dogs, and I had gotten the bottle up and I could barely read it, and then I was like, I wonder if this could be used for people and what it was used for, and if there would be any problems potentially with it. And so I looked it up, and that was interesting. It would be great to have a list of pharmaceuticals so that if you came across something and you didn't know if it was safe to use, and, you know, like we were talking about, some drugs you can use for horses and people, and some you can't. Be great to know.
Yeah, a lot of that information should be in the medical ones. Because there's several different medical libraries on there.
All right, I love Khan Academy.
Yeah, so there you can do a download of it.
Let's just see what it looks like here. We'll start out with babies counting. Oh, it's got all those
Put
videos in there?
7 squirrels in the box. All right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squirrels. I've put 7 squirrels in the box. Let's keep going. This is lots of fun. Put 4 squirrels in the box. Even easier than putting 7.
All right.
1.
Yeah, and remember the point of this, we're looking through it as a preview here, but the point of all of this is not to just go look at this information, it's keep a copy of it. You know,
Yeah.
download these archives so you've got a copy of this stuff.
Well, there's your curriculum, people, for homeschooling right there. You know, I used to study the scope and sequence charts of just anybody that put out any curriculum, and I would study those scope and sequence charts because that tells you what they're kind of supposed to learn. But then you put your own thought process behind it and build things in. So that's really cool, Ralph. Very cool.
Yeah, so, you know, you get an external hard drive or something like that. They're cheap nowadays to get just tons of space. You could probably download pretty much everything in there in the Kiwix library to an external hard drive. And there you go. You've got every bit of information that you could, you know, you got more information than you could possibly want to read in an entire lifetime that you can download and archive. And if everything falls apart, if there's an infrastructure problem and you need to be able to search for something, well, you've got a very compact library there.
Well, and I would store that external hard drive like in an old microwave, cut the cord off, or something that can keep it safe from an EMP, so that
Yep.
you start storing up those things that can be helpful in a time where you need preparedness.
Yep. Or a gun safe. Gun safes work great for that.
Data charges may apply.
Yes. And that's why in that video too, they recommend, you know, don't download this stuff over like a cell phone connection, because some of these archives are enormous. I mean, like Wikipedia, if you download Wikipedia, I think it's well over 100 gigabytes. I don't remember exactly how big it is, but if you figure you're downloading, if you get the full version of it with all the pictures and all of that kind of stuff, that's an awful lot of data. And it's certainly doable if you've got a landline connection, or if you want to just, you know, go to your library that's going to have a landline connection and download it there.
I've got one here that's 56.656 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's reasonably small.
109 gigs. I'm looking for the biggest ones here. Yeah, those are the biggest ones that I'm seeing.
Any of the
While
ones
you're
with
at the
videos.
library, check out a couple of books.
Yeah. And if you need help, you could probably ask the librarians there to help you. And I would take a guess and say that all of them would be thrilled that someone was archiving data.
Well, here's another thing to remember is when you're looking at books, unless you're doing like off the grid stuff, you a lot of the books have changed, like Chronicles of Narnia. I just went back and bought another set of those because I already had one. But going back to get an extra copy of the before 78 ones, because 78 is when it really changed. Something else that I bought recently that I think would be really good for everyone to have is I started collecting home ec books. Remember, we used to have home ec, which I didn't take because I was into shop because I was kind of a tomboy. And so who would have guessed, right? And so I want to work with power tools. Forget the rest of this. I already knew how to do that though, because I have been doing this. You know, if you grow up in like a farm family, you've already done everything that's in these books. You know how to make bread and all that sort of thing. But these things are kind of interesting, and it, you know, is you know, I own quite a bit of real estate, and I see the mistakes younger people are making. They don't know how to do, say, like personal management, household management, all of these things. Here's you know, kitchen skills. and such. And I think that all of those books and those things, besides the prepper things, just how do you do things is fairly important. Even traditional skills. Here's something else I want to pull out and show you guys that I think is interesting. Straw bale gardens.
I've heard about that on a homestead rescue show is one of my favorite shows right now. I haven't seen all of the episodes, so even when the old episodes air, I'm like, "Ooh, have I seen this one before?" That's one of the things that they've used. It's kind of interesting.
But you can create your own, in essence, a biodegradable raised bed. So kind of an interesting thing. So like, we use straw bales for a lot of stuff. You can use straw bales for all kinds of things. I'm probably this picture's kind of cool. Look what they did in their front yard here. Let's see if I can get it on here. Look at that. They made their own little raised bed right in the yard. And so all you got to do is cut the center and put a little dirt in there, and you have a raised bed. Now, I'm not sure that's going to last more than one season. However, with that said, it doesn't matter because it's still a cheaper way than hauling in, like, and trying to get all of your dirt in place. Oh, this is kind of cute. Look at this. They actually use the vertical surface for flowers.
I took a short video and a picture yesterday. I haven't looked to see. I couldn't tell if it was a good clip or not outside, but I might put it on Karen the Riveter today. Forgot about it. My husband in the last week. And
we lost you there for a second, Karen. What was that?
My husband has been working on a compost heap in the last week or so, and it got to over 150 degrees inside. So he's really having a good time because we've had compost materials, but we've never actually worked it. And he started researching, and he opened it up yesterday to turn it. And I took a little footage of it because it was so hot. It was steaming inside, which was really cool to see, I thought. So I videoed it, but I don't know if it turned out so you can actually see the steam. But it was so hot when he was picking up a handful of it, he had to drop it. It was too hot to handle.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to see. But that's going to go in our garden this year. We're going to mix it in with some topsoil and start our container garden.
Well, I just posted something that was on using soaker hoses rather than the overhead sprinklers. Overhead sprinklers have its place, but if you can soaker hose things, it's quite a bit more efficient. You don't. Oh, this is kind of cool. Now I happen to know how to sew, and but if you don't know how to sew, rudimentary skills of sewing are important to have. So this is kind of interesting. Ralph just posted that.
Yeah, I kind of suck at textile skills. However, this book is excellent in that it explains like how make, sew, and mend, how to make clothes, how to fix them, and then it's got a good explanation of like the actual functional reasons why you would use different types of cloth. Not only the different fiber contents of things like wool versus cotton versus linen versus synthetics, that sort of thing, but also in some cases, like if I remember right, how they're woven and everything, how all that works together. For somebody that doesn't have a background in textile skills, it's really a pretty good book. And then this is another one that I've got that's like, if you have a grid down situation, where are you going to get socks?
Well, you're going to get it from the wool that you make from your sheep and your alpacas, and that's why we have to be obsessed about sheep and alpacas, right?
Exactly.
Of course we do. So there you go.
You have to ride your horses and pull your wagon on down to Donna Brandenburg's place where she's going to have her little micro sheep and cows and alpacas and say, "Hey, can I barter some wool from you?"
You know what? After we talked to Monica yesterday, I started researching the A2 cows and difficult they are. And then I called Michigan State because they've got resources there, and I'm going to follow up with that because I want to find out more of where those resources are. You know, and we're nerds, okay? When we get something like this to follow, what are we going to do? Boys and girls, we're going to chase down those leads, right? Like, say, the MIGOP and some of the nonsense going on there. But yeah, we're gonna track these things down so that no matter what, we're not dependent on somebody else, but actually have a plan. Pretty easy to feel confident when you have a plan, or even if you just have the knowledge and you spend some time every day learning some of this stuff, you can truly help yourself no matter what happens, whether things go good or they go bad, or they partially go good or they partially go bad. You have a way to pivot because the knowledge is here. And unfortunately, our scam education systems, and I'm talking going from kindergarten all the way up to the highest degrees possible, they're teaching people how to be dumber because they're distracting, just like the MIGOP and the Michigan Republican Party does. You know, look over at Detroit, when all of the real stuff's happening on the west side of the state. So when you look at the distraction part, what are they doing through distraction? They're getting people to look away from the real issues that will work. And that's their plan. All war is deception. All of it is. So we got to get used to not expecting it always to be right up there, unless, of course, it's Donna Brandenburg who's going to tell you the truth, whether they like it or not, because I don't really care about the titles or anything else like that. I want my country back. And that needs to be stuck with. You know, we serve God, we serve our country, not subgroups or cults. So that's important. Well, I think we should maybe continue to go into this. So tomorrow, Dr. Kent's going to come on. I see Jeff Buongiorno sitting back there. So I want to bring him on a minute. If you guys want to stay on a few minutes, you can do that. But I know you have busy days too. And you're always gracious to come on when I ask you to. And I wanted to have a short week because I didn't know how long my voice was gonna, you know, stay good. But I appreciated you being there so that, yeah, you know, especially yesterday when I completely lost my voice again, it was helpful.
Yeah, no problem. And I think I might just duck out so that just if for no other reason than to highlight what Jeff's got to say a little better.
Karen, would you sit back? Do you have time to sit backstage today so that if my voice like totally crashes on me, I can bring you back on for rescue?
If you want me to, I'll stick around.
That'd be great. So, okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go ahead and play the music for the second hour of Brandenburg News Network, and we'll be bringing on Jeff Buongiorno just in a minute here. Thanks, guys. You guys are amazing. I love you. Good morning. Welcome to Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg. It's the 9th day of May, 2024, and welcome to the second hour of Brandenburg News Network. I'm waiting for Jeff to get on there and welcome him back on. And morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing well, Donna. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, it's so good to have you back on today. And, you know, we talked this weekend, and I know you have a big announcement to make here. Jeff has been working into the CISA and SCIS and all the election integrity, but sometimes our lives take a little bit of a right turn when things come up that are even more dangerous that need to be brought to life. And so you have an announcement to make today, or we want to talk in a different direction? What's going on?
Well, Donna, I'm suspending my campaign for U.S. District 21 House of Representatives due to due to some health issues, I was exposed to some cell phone EMF leakage, and I didn't realize this was happening over a period of about I don't know, almost a year. I was up in New Jersey at my second home doing some renovations, and I don't know if you can see, I have what I believe are radiation burns over my eyelids. And while I was in New Jersey, I was living in the apartment, and it's a small studio. You're right outside of Manhattan on the Hudson River. And it was a great location for years. It's been in the family since the 90s. I haven't been there in years, so I decided to renovate and sell. And during this time of doing these renovations in piecemeal, making trips, going up I live in Florida, as some of you may know, going to New Jersey, 2-week stints, getting some work done, cleaning up, getting rid of a lifetime of accumulated hoarder type stuff. I had a big storage place in the basement, But anyway, I came back every 2 weeks, and I felt like crap. I broke out in rashes and bumps on my hand. My eyes would turn. So my friend picked me up at the airport. Stanley, you've had him on a few times.
Yeah, Stanley.
He's like, "What do you have? Eye makeup on?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I looked in the mirror in the car, and these were like bright orange. I looked like I was ready for drag queen hour.
Hey, just so you know, you would make a very unconvincing woman.
That's a good thing. Yes. So I just don't, I've been out of there for now about 8 days. I'm starting to feel better. I lost the eye makeup, and the rash is gone. It's amazing. And the FCC regulations are from 1996, and this cell phone antenna. I'm on the top floor of a mid-rise building, and I can literally, there's 7 of them on top of the roof. Directly above my apartment is a power supply unit the size of 3 refrigerators. And I didn't check for the electromagnetic. What I checked for was the EMF, and that's the radiation. Similar to how you get what a microwave would emit. And I used a testing device, very well known Tri-Field TF2 model, and I tested 4 feet away. I cranked my microwave up and I tested from 4 feet away, put it on for a minute, and the radiation readings were the same as if I was sitting in my living room. So wow. Picture living in a studio and having the microwave running 4 feet from your head 24/7. And according to the FCC, that's okay. And that's the town's position on it. And that's the HOA's position on it. Well, the FCC says it's okay. The last study the FCC did was 1996. So, we have enough time now under our belt, and, we're seeing all these turbo cancers. We're seeing our children are under attack. And one very important thing, this is like the kicker. This cell phone site, 7 antennas, are right across the street within, I'm going to even say, maybe 120 yards of a public school, Edgewater, New Jersey public school. And I walked across the street to the public school, and I held up the Tri-Field device at a window that went into a classroom, and the reading was the same as if they're sitting in front of a microwave. And wow. I did a little research in it, and supposedly I was very irritated all the time. I was in a vegetative state. I would sleep all the time. It was very difficult to do work. And what I noticed was during the day I was zonked all day when I was there. But at night I would start to feel better around 7 o'clock, and I would get a lot of my work done. And I remember it was a real pain because you can't make noise. It's a co-op. You have people, you have neighbors, and you're not supposed to do work after a certain hour. So it was a slow go. I would always start working around 7 o'clock. So this last trip, when I noticed, I put 2 and 2 together. And how did I put 2 and 2 together? I went upstairs. I'm on the top floor. I went up 1 flight of stairs, and there's an egress door to the roof, and there's 9 signs: danger, radiation, do not enter, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I'm 10 feet below. It's got to be hitting me. And that's how I put 2 and 2 together. But the radiation levels at night, as you might suspect, they were lower. They were like a third. And as cell phone calls are made by people, the radiation levels spike. So like 6 to 9 in the morning, it's crazy. 4 to 8, 4 to 7, the radiation is just unbearable. Certain hours, you have a lull. So I just, I'm keeping a schedule and trying to, even I just feel like I'm not 100% physically. I'm in pain. I have 2 titanium implants, and while I was there, I have titanium in both knees. I'm like, why do my knees hurt when I come here? It's not even the cold. It was 50 degrees, and my knees always hurt, and they would like have almost a feeling of they were like falling asleep, and I attribute that to the titanium that's in my knees. The other thing was we have this HVAC unit that's forced hot air, and you have to turn it from hot to cold, right? So you have heat part of the year. It's New Jersey. It's not quite Michigan, but it's still a cold winter. So May 15th is the cutoff date. That's when they go from heat to AC. And now I have one big picture window. I know it's a nice apartment. I like it. It's one big, huge window that encompasses the whole living area. And what I noticed was it's really hot when it's 50 degrees out. Why is my apartment so hot? And I figured, well, the sun's beating down, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's, it just has to do with the sun. I do get a lot of sun. And then I noticed I had to roll out a portable air conditioner. So when it's 50 degrees out, it's like 85 degrees in the apartment. It made no sense. And then I started to investigate a little more. And at night, I would put my hand on the window, and it was hot. So I believe this is the heat, the radiation coming through the windows, causing the apartment basically, to boil over. So it's a problem according to the FCC guidelines, which I don't trust. It reminds me of smoking, like in the 50s, right? Oh, it's there's no harm. No, it's going to be fine. Just keep smoking, right? And so yeah, this is a big problem. And so I'm not going to run. I'm going to focus on these illegal immigration, massive invasion that we have, and we've hit this a few times. But what I want to do now is, if it's okay, if you don't have any questions on that, I mean, I'm not an EMF expert. I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, and I read up on it. I know a little bit, but what I want to unearth now, I believe, is really devastating to the what I call the RICO election fraud cartel, whose job is to stack the voter registrations, and they're using the federal government to do so. So if I can share my screen.
Always.
Okay, let's get right into it.
You just show the video of you taking pictures too of the antennas at some point in time. That was interesting. So Jeff and I talked Sunday night, and you were fairly fried Sunday night, just like upset and not feeling very well. How are you feeling today? Are you getting better?
I'm feeling a little better. Yes. I look at that stuff and it really turns my stomach.
Well, I did a show here with some people that were trying to keep them out of the schools, because
I just felt terrible.
They're trying to mount them in the schools all over the place, and there's a couple of companies that are behind that. So we unearth who's attached to those companies, and we'll find out who's driving the bus on this. Okay, there you go.
Before I go into this screen share, what I did was I live on it's called River Road, and it runs along the Hudson River, and Manhattan's right across the river. And there's a nice walk along the river, and I walked about a mile with the reader, and everywhere was fine. So I was away from the school, and I walked, I don't know, about a mile. And when I got to it's called the Veterans Field. It has a playground, it has basketball courts, it has a track, it has like a couple of softball fields, a baseball field. Guess where the radiation level was just as high as my apartment? Pointed right directly to the park. So, and believe me, there's plenty of buildings along that stretch where the antenna could have been placed, but where do they put it? Right by where the children play. So, to me, this is an orchestrated hit job, and it's helping to kind of, dumb down the population. I mean, who knows? Is it eugenics? Are they going to be infertile in years? Like I don't know. I just totally, physically, I felt it big time, and it's just terrible. But yeah, so my point there is there's a second radio antenna site, and it's directly in front of a playground.
What a shame.
But this is something, hey, that's got to get backburnered for now, because we have an election coming. We have an evil cartel that's out there. They're having their way, and I'll show you some evidence that I think is incontrovertible, and I think everyone in every state who was subjected to this needs to FOIA these particular records. So, if we can, let's go to the screen share, and let's take a look at this executive order. Now, just to give everyone a recap, what we've been discussing is the vast border invasion, and we have concrete evidence that DHS is handing off Social Security numbers, and we have the socialsecurity.gov website. We talked about this a few times. This is ssa.gov, and then it's not a long URL. ssa.gov / the word open / HAVV, which is Help America Verify Voters. Quick recap: what this does, if a person registers to vote and they have no picture ID, they have no driver's license, basically what it tells me is they're new to the country, or maybe they just turned 18 and they don't have a driver's license yet. But this should be the exception, not the norm. And what I'm showing now is the table that Social Security puts out every week for the total number of transactions that are flushed through this system. Now, I'm not going to call them voter registrations, but we're 99% confident that they turn into voter registrations. And what we're seeing, so these are people that have no identification. All they're doing is providing 4 digits of a Social Security number, which, in my opinion, is not even ID. For years and years, every Social Security card was stamped not for identification purposes. But I'm drilling down on the week of ending March 21st, 2020. And what comes into your mind when you think of March 2020?
COVID.
The height of COVID, okay? So this is Greg Abbott's executive order. This is dated March 19th.
Can you read it? It's kind of small on the screen.
Yeah, it's long and basically pursuant to his powers, he has issued executive order number GA-08 relating to COVID, preparedness and mitigation. And it's it's what you would expect in an executive order. But what happened? Didn't most agencies close down? You couldn't go to motor vehicle and produce your Social Security number as ID or register to vote. Could you go out? Could people go out and register to vote? Were we having these transactions that were in person? In Florida, I know we weren't. In California, one of the worst, most strict COVID guidelines, that they certainly weren't registering voters. Now, I think that's something that we all could agree on, that the country was shut down during about a 6-week period. This is March 19th. Florida, we declared a state of emergency on March 8th. But I want to take Texas as an example, because Texas, I believe, is under attack, and this has been going on for years. You even have Julian Castro. When he was the leader of the DNC, he said, one day you're going to wake up and Texas is going to turn blue. And Seth Kessel shared a video with me, and does anybody believe that Joe Biden outperformed Barack Obama in Texas and Hillary? Can you believe that? So that's what happened, and that the numbers prove it. And what we're seeing in Texas is just a massive amount of volume of these voter verification transactions. But let's take a look, and I'll try to see if I can. Let's get this a little larger.
Can you go one more? There you go.
One more.
Yeah, see if you can get it. Yeah, that's better.
So how does California, in the height of COVID, in a 1 week period, have 10,464 transactions?
When they should be closed.
They should be closed. Well, so here, let's take a look. Florida, haven't we have 4,000 transactions when everything is closed? Illinois, Idaho, and let's go down to Texas. 64,000. Now that's a light week, considering they are now averaging over almost 250,000 a week. So, in my opinion, this is a smoking gun. This is proof that there's some kind of, I'm going to say, evil force out there that's transacting this. It's not done. It's not done by the public. It's not legitimate. Let's take a look at. Another week. Let's say 2020. Let's go to March. Let's go to March 28th. Give us a second to refresh. And California, almost 5,000. Illinois, keeping it blue. What they're doing is they're replacing all of the people that are flocking from the blue states to the red states. So, they're sending in the replacements. And let's take a look at Texas, that second week of their COVID lockdown. New York, 6,000. 190,000. Now, how is that possible? Who's pushing these buttons? That's what I want to know. And, that's what everyone in the country needs to start. I believe that these records, let's go to home. It's probably not going to take me. Okay, good. By the way, the data that I've been putting out weekly on Twitter, it went viral a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Elon Musk commented on it, and it got about 65 million views, and the Texas Secretary of State came out with a press release, and I want to dissect that press release word for word. It's very interesting, the words that she chose. Okay, so we have this. To comply with the requirements of Section 303 of HAVA, SSA developed a new verification system known as the Help America Vote Verification System in August of 2004. States must only submit a request to us for new voters who do not present a driver's license. Who are they presenting it to? Is there like a plexiglass window and we have everybody's wearing masks and in our governmental agencies? No, those people didn't go to work, especially the government folks. So HAV verifies the accuracy of the name, date, and birth, and the last 4 digits of a social security number submitted, and sends an indication of whether our records show the individual is deceased. Okay. So some states are not in it. New Mexico, Kentucky, they don't participate in this sham. South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. Now, North Dakota, which I think is a great thing, does not require voter registration. Why do we even have to register to vote? We go, we prove we're a citizen, we prove we have ID, and we cast our vote. We don't have these big inflated databases where, we can do all kinds of crafty ways to force votes in electronically. On the other hand, I spoke about this quite a few times about not having a voter registration database, and everyone always comes back and says, well, why can't you go and vote in another precinct and they would never know? Well, you should vote in your precinct. We should count votes in our precinct, and we should count the paper ballots. The information about voting machines and Dominion, it's coming out like a fire hose, especially Pete Berenger, great Berninger, the great guy from Berninger, great guy.
I love him.
Yeah, he's really hitting it hard, and he's just this information is this is all stuff that I looked at that I've known, and I tried getting it out there. Maybe it was too soon, the time wasn't right. I mean, he is doing a lot of work on the FOIA side and bringing in unearthing all this new stuff. But I presented this 15 months ago at CPAC, and I was a tin hat saying Serbia and this and all these connections to foreign entities, foreign actors. So yeah, he's doing a great job. And
what have you heard about the Albert sensors? And how they're rigging that in the townships, even the townships, because he put a bunch of posts out and then they wiped the Internet Archive of the information but thank God he saved it. So we have the proof that that's exactly what they were doing. And the last few days, I reposted part of his stuff for Michigan because that's crazy.
Yeah, Jason knows a lot. Jason Ikes, usually we're on together. He knows a lot about that, and he basically briefed me on it. And and from other folks, some in the intel community, the Albert sensors is how the U.S. controlled elections in other countries, and when there were color revolutions, Noriega, things, stuff like that. So basically, they're using the same exact tactics that our intelligence agencies have used in color revolutions in other countries on the U.S. And that Albert sensors, there's no good reason for them. But stepping back one to the EMF and where the cell sites are. And I don't know if you heard this. If you're up on FirstNet and the First Responders Network,
a little bit.
So that was used supposedly. I don't have the evidence in front of me, so I'll say supposedly. I know it to be factual. That's used to broadcast the precinct results over the First Responders Network. It's a 3G network. It's very stable. It's what the first responders use. And Obama put out an executive order that this needs to be rolled out countrywide. And so, getting back to FirstNet, which is it's a cell provider for those who don't know, and there's they have this network for first responders. That's the sheriffs use our first responders use it and secure supposedly, and it's everywhere. But my point is that we said, well, hey, why are these cell phones, these cell sites located by schools, and why is it by that one field, that one playground in Edgewater? Well, I started to dig a little because I thought about Albert sensors, and I thought about FirstNet, and it just so happens that the school and next to the playground is a VFW hall, and guess what? That's where the people vote in the borough of Edgewater, New Jersey. So
this has gotten weirder by the second.
Yeah. So it's serving multiple purposes, right? They're grabbing the election data and they're helping to kind of deprogram and weaken the minds of the children. So they just if they tell them they're a cat and you have to go pee in the kitty litter box in the bathroom, that's okay. And because these microwave radiation is going through their brains all day, they agree. And that's part of it. That's you're cognitively, it's a decline, and you can't make rash decisions very quickly. And I felt it firsthand, and I felt like a laboratory rat because I was basically held hostage in a one room. I had no rental car. I was held hostage in my studio apartment, which is literally 25 feet away. if that, from these cell sites. But I digress. So let's take a look now at.
You're turning it into the Brandenburg method here, Jeff. That's like going all over the place, but making sense somehow.
Somehow, it all ties in, and it's with the media brainwashing the people, there's still a large percentage of people that are just they're just lemmings and they're following each other off the cliff. So here's April 4th, Florida. We still have 3,300 transactions. Illinois holding steady at that 13,000 mark, right? California, 4,000. Maryland, 2,000. Missouri, Pennsylvania, here's Texas, 186,000. So how is it possible that, let's go back and let's make this very clear.
Numbers. The numbers are the same.
This is April 4th, 2020. We're in the height of the pandemic scare and the lockdown. So these transactions are occurring during the height of COVID. So let's go back. Let's get this in a nice 1-minute clip. What is it? Okay. Have verifies the accuracy of the name, date of birth, and the last 4 digits of a SSN submitted and sends an indication of whether our records show the individual as deceased. So again, I ask everyone, who's originating these transactions? What's the source? And what we're told here, if you have questions, go to your local voter registration, your county, supervisor of elections. We need to FOIA every record during the lockdown. Okay, to me, they can't talk their way out of this. This is COVID. Everything's shut down. Florida, I did the 6 or 8 week period, total cumulative number for the have transactions in Florida, and it's 13,000. Texas was relentless. It was about 820, almost 1 million in Texas during COVID. So this is the plan. Part of the execution, right? They're going to put these transactions through. We don't know exactly what they're doing. We don't know if they're exactly voter registrations. But if you go to your county registrar, they're going to look at you dumbfounded. And these people are walking zombies. They're told to trust the federal government, and they're saying, well, if the federal government tells us that these are legitimate voter registrations and these numbers match, we accept it. So my first question is, if you're going to certify an election, how can you, when you don't know if this data that's being presented to you in the form of a voter registration is that of a citizen? So that
they have no idea whether somebody's a citizen or not.
That opens a huge window for liability for anyone who's certifying.
If we go to FOIA that, we go to like the supervisor of elections, do we go to our township or do we go to our county? And what specifically do we ask them?
Well, there you go. That's what needs to be defined. Right. So what it says, right? It says call your local. Please address questions about the use of the system by any particular state to the appropriate voter registration official in that state. So I think we need to get on the horn with every appropriate voter registration in Texas, in Florida, in Illinois, in Missouri, in California, in all of these states that have had these voter registration transactions during COVID. We need to get on the horn. We need to get our pen and paper out, get on the computer, and start making this an upheaval of FOIA requests. This is how we fight back. Now, there's one other thing. Well, there's actually a lot of other things, but staying in line. To ensure the privacy of the SSN, have restricted the collection to only the last 4 digits of a social security number. So this is it's always for our own privacy, right? But have it provides that these last 4 digits do not constitute an SSN number.
What?
So, what exactly is it? So let's unearth something else. Well, palmbeach.gov.
What is it? You're cutting in and out, Jeff.
Using all my bandwidth on StreamYard. So what? By mail. They probably have my IP address like blocked or something.
Yeah, something like
It's
that.
coming. So
my computer went black this morning.
So first of all, okay, there's just so much here. Now, the people of Palm Beach County have been going to the Palm Beach County Commissioners meeting and telling them that we want to decentralize the vote count. We want to go back to paper ballots counted at the precinct level. And what do they in the middle of the night, they sneak and they move all their voting equipment to this new huge facility where all the vote count is going to be centralized and it's secure.
What?
So now they can run and they can hide. Yeah. So they spent millions of dollars in Palm Beach County for a new facility where there's going to be centralized vote counting, where for the last 3 years plus, we've been lobbying them at every Tuesday, first Tuesday in a month, 20, 30 people, get rid of the machines, count by decentralize the vote count. This is a slap in the face to the people of Palm Beach County, to the taxpayer of Palm Beach County. So I'm going to go request a vote by mail ballot. And this holds true in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas. So look, I could go in and I could say, oh, I'm going to request a vote by mail ballot for someone else. Gee, isn't that convenient? So
how can you do that?
Yeah, how can you do that? So last 4 digits. So I can request a vote by mail ballot for someone else. And I could do it up to 3 times. So me and 3 of my besties can request ballots. Now, we know that the NGOs are not our friends. We know in Florida that we had a law to in the last election integrity bill. I don't even want to call it an election integrity bill. I'm going to call it resign to run. And this was in about a year ago, late April. And the governor signed into law a bill allowing him to remain as governor and run for federal office. And they made some changes. One of the changes they wanted to make was that there would be no signature verification. Instead of signature verification, we would use the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. So they'd only have to read a number, which only takes about maybe 3 seconds. And this I call the Carrie Lake law. When she unearthed 180,000 ballots were signature verified vote by mail ballots in an 8-hour period by 3 guys in a smoke-filled room. If it takes 45 to 90 seconds approximately, probably closer to 45 for a skilled person who's verified signatures before, that there's not enough time. They don't have time to orchestrate the amount of fraud and to say that, well, yeah, these signatures are verified. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to further implement the abuse of this 4-digit code and use it as verification for a signature. But that got knocked down. But here's the important one, and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second. I'm gonna look for another presentation that I have, and it just dawned on me to use it now. So, in what happened during the negotiations, during the floor debate for the resign to run bill, there was a massive drive by the Democrats, and I watched it on closed circuit TV, and all they cared about was pounding NGOs, how the Iranian community, Eskenazi or something, one of the state reps, libtard, she's like, when I first came to the country, I was in college and I got registered to vote by an NGO in college. And if it wasn't for that NGO, I would have never figured out how to do it. And then you have the my Latina community, we must have NGOs because the Latinas aren't smart enough. Then you have they're all race baiting. Then you have the black guy.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them, they race baited. And the rhinos, including Mike Caruso, who knows that there's a Haitian ballot harvesting scheme in the state of Florida, who I sent a text message and he acknowledged it. Yes, they approached my wife Tracy when she was running for mayor of Delray. She declined to pay them and she lost the election. She got no Haitian vote. This is the day that you have your butt where you're representing the people in Tallahassee and you're texting me that you're aware of a ballot harvesting scheme, which is illegal in Florida. You can't ballot harvest. Only you could do 3, I guess. I guess 3 is legal because you can do that online. But he's there. He doesn't say a word. And we can't have this vote season because the NGOs are outnumbering the people. They're well funded, and they have 45 days to go and either buy votes or harvest them. Or it's illegal in Florida, and he says nothing. And this is all in text messages back and forth. So I asked Mike Caruso, your wife lost the election because what you say, she got no Haitian vote and she didn't pay the Haitian ballot harvesting team. Did you pay them? Is that how you stay in power? And is that why you kept your mouth shut? And is that why Governor DeSantis flew you to Israel? That the day that the election integrity 7050 bill was signed to pull you out of there? You know what Michael Caruso told me? Jeff, it's the ACLU and it's the Women's League of Voters and it's bigger than you and I. What does that mean? That's tyranny, okay? That he represents the people. He doesn't represent the Women League of Voters, and he doesn't represent the ACLU. And Michael Caruso, I call him Michael Corrupso, he should resign from office immediately. Now, let's get back to the law and what was proposed and what was fought and what eventually won in the Court of Appeals by the same Judge Walker, who's been I think it's the Ninth Circuit, and he gets all the appeals. And DeSantis, it's great. Everyone thinks Florida's so conservative, and DeSantis is doing a great job. But a lot of the bills and things that the press covers and he passes, it's nationwide news how great Rhonda DeSantis is, but you don't hear about it when the Court of Appeals overturns these great conservative laws that it's controlled opposition. So let me give me 1 second.
I got to show you something I brought up too when you get a chance, because we're going to go back to this Israeli thing here, and I brought up this little gem right here, 14.3 billion in crucial aid for Israel, and the lobbying group, the huge lobbying group, and all of them are connected.
Yeah, and and that's why I like Brian Mast is and so many of them have have dual citizenship, right?
You bet they do.
What assets do they have? So I'm gonna while I'm searching for this PDF, I'm gonna start going into what the gist of it is, what I'm calling out. So in the negotiation of this bill 7050, the Resign to Run bill, there was a provision that allowed we call them 3 PVOs, third-party voter organizations, and it's just another fancy name for an NGO. And what the debate was on the floor, where the Rhino Republicans stood down and didn't say a peep, they got steamrolled by the Democrats. They're not even Democrats; they're communists. They got steamrolled. They wanted to pass a provision.
We don't have Republicans or Democrats sitting in the seat. We have traitors.
Yes. So, okay, I'm going to go back to the share. Now, what they wanted.
You need to share.
What they wanted was to allow. I'm on it. 1 second. Let's see.
Okay.
Yep. And let me go to. Okay. So what they wanted, and this presentation lays out a lot of what I just showed. I should have had this ready. This is all about,
No worries.
yeah. So, here's our proof that, and this is over a year old. I was on this, trying to get this out to the people, how CBP basically allowed this orderly border processing, where they're using the CBP One app, right? And now, so now let's go back to the 7050 Florida Resign to Run bill. Now, what they wanted to, what they were lobbying for, or what they stated in the bill, which was Florida law, is that if you're not a citizen of the United States, you can't work for a third-party voter organization to register voters, which makes sense. If I'm a non-citizen, should I be allowed to register voters? And
Well, it's foreign intervention in our elections, so no.
Okay, so guess what happens? Let me just this is a whole nother topic here with this Arabic. And let's take a look. Okay, so the federal judge, I can't expand this right now. So this case arises from Florida's latest assault on the right to vote. Plaintiffs moved to preliminarily enjoin 2 amendments. And Florida statutes, one new provision bans non-citizens from registering citizens to vote, thus discriminating based on alienage, one of the most questionable classifications in equal protection jurisprudence. So how is that not foreign interference? Now,
it's foreign interference in our elections.
Are they in the Darien Gap? Are they at Rio Grande? Are they at Eagle Pass? Right before they pass the border, non-citizens filling out the forms for the voter registration form, because how it works, I'm registering my organization as a 3PVO in Florida, so I know a little bit about it. You're allowed 10 days from the time the voter signs the voter registration form to the time you submit it to the actual jurisdiction, the county vote, the county registrar. So in that 10-day period, they're amassing, thousands of records. And now these 3PV NGOs, well, they now they have copies. They take a database. They know who they registered. What do? They change their hats, like Antifa changed their hats from Black Lives Matter to Hamas Lives Matter, right? They change their jerseys, and they go online, and maybe they get 3 ballots for the people they registered, or who knows what other nefarious actions they're doing to actually obtain these ballots. So these third-party voting organization groups, these NGOs, they're registering them, these illegals. They're taking their pedigree, all of their information, and now it's very simple. They just stop registering voters, because you can't register, 2 months before the election in Florida, something like that. What do? They go and they harvest the ballots. And Mike Caruso is aware of this. Now, there's a magnifying glass on this now, because what's happening in Haiti? Where are they going? All of the Haitians, they're coming to Florida. Now, we've seen what you see in Michigan, in Dearborn, I think it's Dearborn, right? Where all the Muslims are.
Yeah.
Now they're the first problem. Hey, I'm great. I love legal migration, merit based, right? We should live in a meritocracy. If we need, bring them in, right? But the problem is that they don't assimilate, and they become one, and they vote in blocks. And this is exactly the tactics that the left, the radicals, Saul Alinsky, you want to divide and conquer, right? So now now we know, I proved by these text messages, it's confirmed by Mike Caruso, that there is a Haitian ballot harvesting scheme in Palm Beach County. So when these 326 Haitians that flew based on Todd Benson's report, that flew into Miami International Airport, they're not going to go to Matt Gaetz's district, right, and try to assimilate with the great folks up there. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to Mike Caruso's district, which is Lois Franco's district, which has a huge Haitian population, and they're going to be a part of this ballot harvesting scheme. And this has to be stopped before the 2024 election. And this is their whole, this is the, Donald Trump, the art of the steal. This is the art of the steal for the left. Number one, we have to FOIA the requests for those transactions during COVID, because they're not going to be able to explain their way out of that one. Okay, everything's closed. Number two, it says right on the socialsecurity.gov website that a 4-digit number does not constitute a social security number. So what is this ID? If I go and vote in person, I can't get 4 ballots like I can online. I can't give a 4-digit code that Alejandro Mayorkas makes up with his cast of criminals in Department of Homeland Security and CISA. I have to give a photo ID. And I can only get 1 ballot. And I vote in person. So to me, now, I'm not a constitutional attorney, but the Constitution is fairly simple language. And the 14th Amendment, Section 1, you can't abridge any law to favor a certain demographic, a certain class of people. And it's also, so in a legal way, they mention it, thus discriminating based on alienage, one of the most questionable classifications in equal protection jurisprudence. That's what it is. It's the equal protectionism clause, right? The 14th Amendment. And I believe that we are creating, and this is intentionally by the federal government, we've created a class of voters who are either not citizens, either there are their IDs that maybe were stolen from the 70 million IDs that were breached in the latest AT&T breach. Maybe they're, and my heart, it's heartfelt. I know, especially in Palm Beach County, there's elderly folks that simply can't get out to the voting booth to vote. But, that's unfortunate. We have to rethink that too. In my opinion, so I don't want to get into that, but I know there are a class of citizens that they do like to vote by mail, but you can't satisfy the needs of the few and jeopardize the country and the needs of the many. And
I'm so glad you said that, because that is so critical to where we are right now in saving this nation. To sometimes how do I say this? The system is so corrupt, and they have used every emotional trigger for people to say, oh, yes, one way or the other. And that's what they're using to steal our elections and steal and subvert this country. And it's true. I mean, we need to be that is an incredible statement. And
and here's the thing, with the evil force and who are these people that are representing us. And I did a little research on because I was just totally blown away by how the Democrats in the Florida House, they all stood together in that last week of April 2023 when they were negotiating to have the third-party voter organizations have non-citizens register citizens. And I went and I did some. We had a guest on open source intelligence. I put my knowledge to work, and you have 40-year-old men, 35-year-old women in the Florida House. And not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but they all have in the same domicile a same-sex partner. Now, when you're 40 years old and you're in the House of Representatives in Florida, I mean, there used to be a time when you were accomplished. Now I just think they're selected, and what they're doing is they're using this LGBTQ whole agenda. And they're taking kind of like what we would consider the people that are maybe out. I don't know what to call them, outliers. But yeah, maybe I'm a little different. I'm gay. And they're using that to say, hey, it's us against them. They're making this us against them mentality across, the governing bodies in the country. And then we also have, in my opinion, that's something that's going on. But what's worse is leadership capture. I know we only have a few minutes. This is a very important point.
You can keep going. I'll just keep the camera rolling. We don't need to, we don't need to jump off at any point in time because I'm going to make a jump here too in just a second.
Yeah, I gotta really break at 11. I'm sorry. So
Okay.
I'll make this point on what we're seeing. So we're definitely seeing leadership capture at the state level, and this is known. This is not probably news to anyone who watches your show, but the normies out there, they're not getting it. But we're seeing leadership capture. It came out of Mike Caruso's mouth. He said the silent part out loud. He said, well, the ACLU and the Women's League of Voters, they're very, leadership wants the vote by mail balloting. I'm like, Michael, I said this to him. That is the exact definition of tyranny. You represent the people. You don't represent the ACLU, and you certainly don't represent the Women's League of Voters. Now, let's turn to another Mike Johnson, who he sold out like a cheap Howard Johnson hotel on spring break on the beach. So he went from being the deciding vote on the Ukraine aid package, money laundering package, from just a few months ago voting against it. Now, this is another sign. We could change speakers all day long, as long as they're under the capture of the Muslim Brotherhood and the K Street consultants. It's not going to matter if George Washington is Speaker of the House, okay? I mean, maybe Donald Trump would be the only one that could buck this. So we have a problem. We have Matt Rosendale. This didn't get covered. This was covered in a one-liner, a little, the Montana Free Press or something. Matt Rosendale is not running for re-election. Why? Because of threats to his family and himself. So he's one of the greatest fighters in the Freedom Caucus, right? The guy is what the people need. And he's resigning. And then we're seeing, some of these other folks resigning. And I believe it's intentional to help I believe they were either bribed or blackmailed or forced into resigning at a period of time where, like the latest one there was two, Mike Law, I don't know who it was, the one rep from, I think, Wisconsin, he resigned, and one from Florida resigned, but right after the period to get on the ballot or to have the governor appoint, depending upon the state. There's different laws when you lose someone in the House. So now we just lost two Republicans, not to mention George Santos, which was voting 99% MAGA. Maybe he's a little far out there, but
they're threatening.
This is the leadership. They're threatening people. I don't know about Mike Johnson. He's got a 40-year-old black guy who's his adopted son, and there's only like 16 years difference, and I don't know. There's some craziness going on there that I don't know that's fact, but it has to do with watching porn simultaneously on the internet and with his adopted son. And hey, I'm all for adoption. Nothing against black people. So I was at Blacks for Trump on Sunday all day. Every Sunday, Michael Maurice has a huge party. I was probably one of the few white guys there. So I'm definitely not a racist. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense. But this leadership capture is a problem. We have to stop this 4-digit ID as being accepted. They jammed it down our throats. It's not ID, and in my opinion, it's a violation of the Equal Protectionism Clause, where we have two classes of citizens: those that never show their face, those that the federal government are aiding and abetting, most likely non-citizens, and then we have the John Q. public voter who likes to go show his ID, go into the ballot booth, go into the voting booth, and cast their vote. So this is where we're at. It's a fire hose of information that's coming down now. The one with Wisconsin election official resigned. They caught her. She printed 64,000 ballots. So
yep.
This is coming to a tipping point, and they know it. And the writing's on the wall. We have to just keep up maximum pressure. And I also want to thank
the clock's ticking.
And the sand's going through the sand dial. Yep. I want to
Trump
thank
watch.
Yep.
Did you see this?
What's that?
Check
Trump?
this out. Yeah, it's the Ingersoll. I've got an Ingersoll Trump pocket watch. Nothing can stop what's coming. It's ticking.
Yep. Well, yeah, it can. It can stop what's coming. There's unspeakable things that might happen. They're desperate. Who knows what they're doing with all these military aged illegal immigrants, males, right, with no families. We don't listen. You know, I'm planning for the worst and I'm praying for the best, but it's going to get ugly.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing all this forward. I have a lot of faith here in God, that God is in control of it. And a lot of people don't believe he is, but he is in control. And so my faith is that God's in control. It doesn't mean that we bow out of what we have to do, but it is, you know, you can run right into battle and you can have faith going on. So it was told to me that that Betsy DeVos threatened me last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so that's why I've been hammering this Betsy DeVos thing and all of her cast and crew of freaks over there that are parading around as Christian right, because I'm not buying any of this anymore. Everything's been infiltrated, and we need to be honest with ourselves, not just because, oh, you know, I'm a Republican and I've always been a Republican, or I'm a this, or I'm a that, or I'm white, or I'm black, or the million different labels we give ourselves to make us feel like we fit in. You know what? If you don't fit into any group, you're probably closer to being over the target. Be yourself and not have to have a crutch to lean on of a group to identify with. That's just a crutch. To me, when somebody says, you know, I'm this or I'm that, it shows me weakness rather than, you know what, you're Jeff Buongiorno. I'm Donna Brandenburg.
Yep.
That's
individuals.
What it is.
Yep.
It is truly, it's actually one of the greatest ways of discrimination of what I can think of as having to have your identity tied up into these groups to justify who you are, what you've done, what you stand for. It's crap. And I want to show you something else that is amazing, because I think there's a critical link from all of these people to AI PAC. And so look at 14.3. Now, I'm not going to say that this is not Israel. This is not Israel any more than our government is representative of the people. And we have to remember that, and this is where discernment comes in, right? So don't, so watch Anti-Defamation League, which is the lapdog for this kind of crap. You know, if they come after me, good. I hope you say something negative against Donna Brandenburg, because that shows that I'm over the target on this, because all that is a lapdog organization. So here we go. We've got billions and trillions of dollars going into this. And what is it? It's a lobby group. And look at this. Under the Biden administration, to reverse its delay on critical arms transfers, to tell Congress to go against it, right? No, he's just playing a puppet there. And that's all this is. This is this isn't the people. This is a money laundering scheme.
Yep.
And you know what? Who's standing with it? Well, you know what? In Michigan, we got DeVos standing with them. And I know of a couple of meetings where this was all about getting people in front of these lobbyists that are lobbying under the guise of Israel. They're not representing Israel, because freaking Israel and the United States were the ones that developed Hamas, Hezbollah, and all these other terrorist organizations. This is not the people.
What does ISIS stand for?
Stands for John McCain was in bed with these people to develop ISIS. I'm sorry, but
it's so when Mossad first came about, the U.S. referred to them as the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. Now, you could look back to the late 60s or early 70s, and that's what they called Mossad. But I have someone pinging me. I have 11 o'clock. I got to jump on.
Okay.
So
well, thank you.
Right.
I'm going to bring Karen on here. And thanks, Jeff, for bringing all this forward. I really appreciate it. And I hope you feel better and you know, fighting all this stuff. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll see you Monday with Jason.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Monday with Jason, okay?
Thank you. See you Monday.
Bye. Hey, Karen, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, but I think our dirt has just arrived.
Oh,
so we need to bow out.
Well, that's good because it's 11 o'clock and it's time to go. So let's say a prayer right now and we'll finish it. So far I've got my voice. You're my backup voice, and my voice, if my voice trashes. So dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for Ralph and Karen and Jeff and all the brave people that stand with this nation. We ask that you uncover every single subversive, traitorous, treacherous organization and individual that has been fighting against the United States of America, and that you would bring everything from darkness to light. We're so thankful that you're walking through this with us, and we are grateful for everything you've done for us. We love you. You're a great friend to us, and we want to be a blessing to you this day. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. So there we go. Time of the show, boys and girls. I'll see if I can get through this without coughing. Go to brandenburgforgovernor.com. I'm the best non-conceder who was ever not conceded in the history of the United States. And God bless you all. God bless you. God bless all those whom you love. And God bless America. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a good show. I've got Daryl Castle back on, Karen and Ralph and Dr. Kent again. We're probably going to get into suturing and off the grid first aid. Have a great day.